Meet the EBEE by SENSEFLY, currently the most popular brand of fixed-wing drones in the United States according to the FAA. And guess what? It's Swiss-made right here in Cheseaux. On today's Tech Talk, we sit down with CEO of SENSEFLY, Gilles Labossière. Gilles, thank you so much for joining us today on Tech Talk. It's a pleasure to be here in your offices in Lausanne. Now, according to these latest FAA figures, SENSEFLY'S EBEE drones, they account for almost half. So we're looking at like 45%, which is 29% more than the next guy in line, the competitors, in the US in terms of fixed-wing drone registrations. What is driving the success in the US?
The success in the US, what is driving the success at large? Because we have about the same data around the world. What drives the success is probably the fact that SENSEFLY has been the first mover in this industry, and the EBEE, our actual product, is the fourth generation product, meaning that it is embedding all our enhanced technologies, and
this is it right here.
And this is the bird, this is the device, this is the hardware, this is the one we are proud of, and it's probably the best in its category. So this is why we are so successful.
So from a technical perspective, what makes this drone, this fixed-wing drone, so unique?
Probably the fact that you can fly 90 minutes with this drone, and so it's much more than its competitors. Second, because of the accuracy of the data collected by the drone, and definitely the fact that we have a payload modularity, which allow our users to change one payload to another one, and our portfolio of payloads are really one of the best you can find on the market.
I didn't understand that. A payload?
A payload is, let's say, the camera, which allow the user of the drone to take the data, to collect the data.
I see. Okay.
So you can have some specific payload for ag, specific payload for GIS, thermal payload, and all these payloads are available and can be used on this EBEE product.
Okay. And I mean, and physically, I mean, this is not, when I imagine a drone, I imagine more the ones that look like small helicopters. Do you know what I mean? And this is the fixed-wing concept, right?
This is a very important point. Drone, when people think drone, they think quadcopter. And probably the quadcopter has 80% of the market of the drone industry. Okay, commercial drone. The fixed wing, we are number one in this segment. Okay, and the fixed wing is not a quad. A fixed wing is completely different. What you can do with a fixed wing, you can't do it with a quad. You can go, you can map very quickly, probably 3 times more or 3 times quicker than what you can do with a quad. You can map remoted site. For instance, you can fly 20 kilometers, map 40 hectares surface, and then come back. You can't do that with a quad.
Wow.
And you can fly longer, so you can map larger surfaces. Okay. So this is why a fixed wing is a particular drone for specific usages. And for these usages, I mean, if you want a fixed wing, you buy a SENSEFLY fixed wing, because we are leader on that market.
Tell me a little bit about this target market. So who is your target for this kind of drone?
Okay, so there are numbers of usages you can develop with drones. So the name of the game when you manage a tech company is to choose your battle, and to choose your, for instance, for the drone, to choose your verticals. So we are mainly focused on GIS, geospatial, so devices for geometers, mapping.
For mapping, okay.
And we are also quite powerful now in ag and
agriculture.
Okay, these are the 2 verticals we address, and we may announce in a few months a third one, which will be the last one. 3 verticals for a small company like Parrot, like SENSEFLY, is fine. It's a good number.
It's okay. We'll get to Parrot in a minute.
no, I don't speak French, sorry.
Because Parrot Group is the company that acquired SENSEFLY, what, a year ago, more or less?
Okay.
Or what is it?
No,
Actually, the story's a little longer,
the story
right?
is much longer than that. In fact, I first met Jean-Christophe Zuffray and Antoine Bailey, the founders, early 2011. At that time, I was the CFO of Parrot, and we decided with Henri Seydoux, the founder of Parrot, to invest in commercial drones. So we financed the first round of financing of SENSEFLY. That was in 2012. We financed the second one in 2014.
Okay.
At that time, we became majority shareholders, and in 2016, we bought the full majority,
okay. So it was a gradual process.
Right. And 2 years later, I became the CEO of SENSEFLY at the departure of Jean-Christophe and Antoine.
Okay. And how did SENSEFLY first get on your radar? You said you wanted to get into commercial drones, but why this specific kind? Because this is a niche kind of drone, right? This is a specific kind of drone.
It's a specific, but it's to be king in your niche is probably better than to be a small player on a bigger market. So at that time, there was SENSEFLY was the first company to imagine that a fixed-wing drone could make sense. So it was unique. Right. And there was no other company like this one. So we met Jean-Christophe and Antoine. They persuaded us that the usages could be interesting, and we invest.
Okay, so you were drawn by the technology,
and probably our investment, Parrot investment in SENSEFLY, has been one of the most successful among the 15th investment we did from Parrot. Yeah.
Okay. So I sense that Parrot is committed to SENSEFLY and to Switzerland, it sounds like.
Parrot is committed to SENSEFLY. Parrot is now behaving like itself like a financial investor. So Parrot is a 100% owner of SENSEFLY, but leaves SENSEFLY a full autonomy and to organize, develop the business. And this is probably one of the reasons why I joined SENSEFLY 1 year ago.
This is what drew you to the position?
Yes, I mean, I was with Henri Seydoux, we decided to reorganize the group and to give as much autonomy as possible to our best investment and startups. So we decided that move, and among the move, I asked Henri to join SENSEFLY and to develop it.
All right.
And this is why I resigned from all my functions from Parrot.
Okay.
And I jump on board.
Okay, so you no longer, because you're not COO or senior executive VP, nothing?
No, I resigned from everything, all my functions at Parrot, and I'm 100% dedicated to SENSEFLY. Okay. I'm here at least three days per week, and I really want to develop this company and to make it grow as quickly as possible.
And if you can take, because you've been in your position almost a year now, right? If not already a year, just in April. A year. If you can take stock of this year, how's it been? How was the transition? Okay, so the transition was not that easy because it was the company of the founders. So it's a normal move. I mean, usually when a corp like Parrot invests in a company, at a certain time, I mean, the founder leave. So this is normal. This is a
normal
part of the process. Yes, it's
normal because it's a normal process. And,
there's no way to sort of keep the founder on board.
It depends on the personality and what the founders want to do. I mean, the founders usually like to recreate business and to start businesses and to you can be a good manager at a certain period and certain phase of the history of a company, but you need different manager for different cycle usually. Yeah. So now it's a question of development, of acceleration. It's more a question of industry than startup. So I'm here to build the first, the leading supplier of fixed wing. And it's a different story. So that's why I joined the company.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get back to the business then of SENSEFLY, which is earlier we were talking about the success you're having in the U.S., which you say is also being replicated in other markets.
Yeah. In all markets. Yeah.
In all markets, you are having success. What about Switzerland? How is the home market for you?
The home market is not one of our best market because it's a small market. Small company, so it's small market.
Numbers,
so probably
Switzerland
represents less than 10% of our revenue. US represents 50% of our business, or 40% of our business. Europe 40%, among which Switzerland is 10%, and the rest of the world is 20%. Asia, Pacific, China, at large.
And where would you like to grow? I mean, where do you have your sights on for growth now?
The growth will come from with the development of this industry. Today, it's an early stage industry.
And the model is it B2B mostly?
Yes, it's B2B. It's B2B. But we are at a time when big corp start thinking that they need fleets of drones to execute some very important tasks. Okay. So the business will remain, of course, a B2B business, but the size of the business can double, triple, be multiplied by partnership and big and contracts with big corps. This is what's happening now.
Okay, so is the industry itself is in consolidation mode? Is this the way it's going to move forward? Or?
It's not a consolidation mode because there are very few actors and companies.
But more partnership building then, or?
Partnership with customer. Partnership with customer. You know, a discussion with companies involved in agriculture who are willing to use the drone for specific usages, optimization of, let's say, fertilizer, optimization of, assets. So these are the discussion we're having with these companies.
And where do you see where are your challenges? Where do you see when you're out there growing your brand?
The main challenge today, SENSEFLY is the leader in this industry. So SENSEFLY is selling 4, 5, 10 times more than its competitors in terms of hardware. Now it's time to build a manufacturer. It's time to move from a startup mode to an industry mode. So it's the ability to multiply the volume by 2, 3, 10 times.
Okay.
And this is our main challenge, to transform a startup into a company.
What needs to happen?
Sweat, energy, enthusiasm, process, and a strong sales team to persuade our future customer.
The investment is there, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's, at least you don't have to worry about that. That would be the startup concern number one is always.
Exactly. So I think that the true words are to move from startup to industry. And there are very few startups who are able to do this switch or this step forward. Okay. So it's not that easy because you start building a company with this process. It's a different mood. And you need to keep the fighting spirit and the adventure and the enthusiasm.
And you're export oriented, of course. So, you are always susceptible to things like currency fluctuations and,
We sell in dollar.
All of these things. But of course at Parrot you also had this, no?
Yeah, this is business as usual. So for me it's really business as usual.
And how much of the production of the drones happens in Switzerland as opposed to abroad?
100% of our drones are assembled here in Cheseaux, in Switzerland. And we assemble components which come from every part of the world. Okay. But our drones are Swiss-made, are assembled in Switzerland, of course. Yeah. And tuned here and tested there, and it's an organization and a situation we want to keep.
What about China? Is that a market that you have your eyes on?
China is an interesting question. As a manager at Parrot, as former general manager of Parrot, my biggest issue was the fight against the Chinese. And on the quadcopter business, drone business, the fight has been tremendously difficult. And you know that the Chinese has killed the industry, except for Parrot. and themselves, of course. So for the fixed wing, today the Chinese are not there. So it's not a real concern. It's not a real issue, but we are prepared to react ad nutum, if I may, in case something happens, and in case they go outside their territory. And we will react firmly and strongly if they start
to produce similar drones.
To produce similar drones. This is exactly the word that I would have used. And you understand what I mean? Yes,
yes, I do. So, but in terms of selling this drone in China?
We sell this drone in China. We are first, we are number one importer of fixed wing drone in China. But it's a small market for us. It's probably 10%. So it's not that important a market for us.
Okay, it's not a market, because everybody wants to grow their market in China.
No, I mean, I don't need to go to China to grow my market. I mean, the market is growing naturally, and naturally, as a small company, I can't address the world. So if I'm number one in the US, if I'm number one in Europe, and if from time to time I sell drones in Asia and in China, it's fine. But my priority is Europe and Western countries. And speaking about drones, speaking about a sensible device, you know, it's something special. A drone. You take data, you collect data, you must secure the data.
Privacy of data.
So we are number one in this industry. We are a Swiss company. We are a European company. We have the ability to sell to the US. It's okay. It's fine. It's enough. Okay. So and then we can secure our customer. And this is definitely something very important.
Now, earlier, before we started the interview, you told me that the next couple of years were going to be full of plans and action. Can you give me a sense of what you've got your eye on for the next 2-3 years?
I mean, the best I can do is probably to invite you to a meeting 1 year from now and 2 years from now. And you will see at each rendezvous that everything will have changed, because the company will move very fast, and this company will grow the market and will take the market and become a manufacturer. No more a startup, but a manufacturer of drone, and an industrial actor. And you will see that transformation year after year, if we succeed if we achieve our goal, and we will achieve them.
Gilles, thank you so much.
Thank you very much
for joining us today on Tech Talk.
Thank you.